Travelling by train is an experience in itself and makes for a delightful part of anyone's holiday. You can really reap the benefits of travelling by train in places like Europe. And I have discovered that quite often travellers are not embracing the subculture of touring a country by rail, and it is the country's locals that use this particular mode of transportation. As it is well known that following the lead of a local citizen's habits in a foreign country will have you arriving at the best tasting and most cost-effective restaurants or the most spectacular events, so it holds true with getting around, and train travel is truly the best way to explore Europe. Press+1 travelled from Italy to Switzerland and France on a Eurail pass, took the Eurostar from Paris to London and explored all the UK had to offer on a Britrail pass. We discovered that train travel is time efficient, cost effective, clean, safe, eco-friendly, includes spectacular views, great opportunities to socialise, and often has you arriving at the very centre of your city destination. We travelled first class and found this the most comfortable way to travel, but if you are on a budget, the standard class is more than sufficient. Quite often, first class will offer more roomy seats, Wi-Fi access, and some form of snacks. Passes can be pre-ordered from your country of origin prior to your trip and must be activated on your first train trip. A variety of pass options are available which allows travellers the flexibility of the passes to fit into their travel plans. Scour the train pass websites before booking, as quite often they have discounts for certain times of year or for students or seniors. The Eurail passes allow you to use a multitude of train companies, whether they be a country's train service or a train service that goes through several countries. This is an advantage as you are not struggling to find a certain type of train you can use the passes on and wasting precious travel time. The Eurail pass was an invaluable part of my travel experience, and I have recommended the pass several times to fellow travellers. So perhaps the thought that the Channel experience on the Eurostar would constitute a day's travel in darkness was entirely unsubstantiated. After spending a delightful above-ground travel experience from Paris to Calais, where we were dipped into the Channel Tunnel for approximately a 15-minute journey, only to travel the rest of the way from the shores of southern England into the heart of London. This short trip took a little over 2 hours and has become the most expedient way to get from France to England. The Paris-London journey may be a popular course, but it can be noted that the Eurostar takes travellers to over 100 destinations throughout Europe. To sum up the Eurostar experience, I could only think of one word: efficiency. From booking online to the speed in which you travel, to the short waiting times when arriving at the station, to the on-train staff assistance, the Eurostar was truly an efficient and delightful experience that any traveller would enjoy discovering. Truly, no finer experience can be had than travelling England by train. Motorways can be a nightmare, and the country is far too small to be flying from one locale to another. Without a doubt, being an overseas traveller, the absolute best way to access the whole of England, Wales, Scotland, and even Ireland is to purchase a Britrail pass. In fact, only if you are not a UK resident and have a passport not from the UK are you eligible for a Britrail pass. The passes are exceptionally reasonable in price and open up all the doors of this country to a traveller from only a train station away. Whatever way you travel by train and wherever your destination is, I have researched and compared and found the BritRail Pass to be the most valuable and cost-effective way to access the United Kingdom. My travels across England took me on a variety of trains, and I found the ones that travelled across longer stretches and were the high-speed trains tended to have the most to offer. The trains that delivered travellers to and from city centres to smaller towns in England often did not have a first-class option, but were very efficient, and I was regularly dropped off within a few blocks of where I needed to be. I found travelling in the fall across the UK entirely pleasant, as all the historical houses were still open, plenty of events were still on to partake in, and a good 75% of the tourists had returned home after summer vacations. Fall travel is a delightful way to explore if you can. Quite often you can find discounted prices on everything from admission to train tickets to plane tickets and accommodation. Overall, BritRail was the only way to travel in style, in comfort, cost effectively, and with a stunning view across the United Kingdom. With travel as effortless as this is, it makes you want to plan for your next trip as soon as you have returned home. As one traveller pointed out to me, you must arrive at least 2 hours before a flight on a plane, but in 2 hours of train travel, you can be in another country. Quite often my trips were short, lasting between 2 to 6 hours, and I could quite often take a direct train for my whole trip. Train travel has a great deal of efficiency attached to it, and not to mention a great sense of old world charm. Read my full reviews on the Eurail, BritRail and Eurostar expeditions I took at www.pressplus1.com under our travel section.